7:46. In the last few minutes, the US Congress has passed Donald Trump's huge budget bill. The package was debated in Congress for days as members of both the House and Senate worked overnight in the Capitol. Earlier, the final vote was delayed when the Democratic minority House leader, Hakeem Jeffries, broke a record by speaking for more than 8 hours on the floor. We can cross live to Washington now and speak to Jon-Christopher, White House correspondent for Real Political News. So we got there eventually then, Jon-Christopher. This had taken its time, but Donald Trump will be happy tonight.
Donald Trump will be happy, if for a moment or two. But let me just send my deepest condolences and prayers to Diogo and his family and to all the Liverbirds who I follow as an avid footballer from Washington, D.C. and from the States.
Yeah, no, immensely sad news regarding Diogo Jota. Just tell us about the events in Congress today, because we had this delay because of a remarkable filibuster by the leader of the Democrats in the House, Hakeem Jeffries.
Yes, a congressman from Brooklyn, New York. And Hakeem Jeffries, he stood there. He tried to speak up and speak out against this mega bill, which the MAGA people are loving, and the Republicans are loving, because their leader, they are disciples, Trump, is pushing it, and he's doing a full court press. He's filling both sides of the court with his charm and personality, and he even managed to get I believe a lengthy phone call with Vladimir Putin in today.
Yes, and we'll come on to that phone call in just a minute. On the bill, this is the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill. It's absolutely enormous, as the name suggests, and it covers tax and spending and all manner of things. Why has it become so totemic? Why is it so important to Donald Trump, and why are many cautious about it?
Because this is Donald Trump wrapped up in one huge bill, and many of us don't think it's a beautiful bill. He insisted on putting his entire legislative agenda into one piece of legislation, which is really unheard of. And the Republicans are trying to, and they did. They successful in passing it with no Democratic votes at all. And no president has done exactly this before. This will probably be the only piece of actual legislation that Congress will pass before the November. Remember this, November 2026 midterm election. And Trump says everything is riding on this. He was not successful in stopping he's set to annex Canada and take over Greenland. He's upset the Brits and the EU, and this is what he's riding on. And he had some of the unsure votes over yesterday to the White House. I saw them coming in to the West Wing, and he was doing a real sweet honey selling job on them. But the House of Representatives passed their version and went back to the Senate, went back to the House, and he has Trump 2017 tax cuts are in there, and there's a real give to the Republicans and to business, and it basically gives the old shaft to Granny and all the people who need Medicare and Medicaid and health care and Social Security and the things that keep this country alive for the working class and the honorable working people across the country of 350 million Americans.
You mentioned, Jon-Christopher, that also today Donald Trump has been having a phone call with the Russian President Vladimir Putin about the war in Ukraine. What do we know about what was discussed and how that conversation went?
Well, we don't know too much, of course. We're finding a little bit more from the Russians and from those who interpret the Russians, colleagues of mine who sent me kind of inside stuff. And he's talking about it. Here you go again. He wants to cut. He and Zelensky now are at odds. As you saw how he treated him at the White House, I was there in the Oval Office, who basically threw him out without lunch. And Zelensky was told to be quiet, and that we have all the cards. This is an honorable man who's been fighting against the terror of Putin, who took over his country. And now Trump is getting more soft with Putin. I don't know what his goal is. He says he had a good conversation about business and about deals they could do together. This guy's all about deals. I grew up a mile away from him in New York City, and he's a deal maker. That's what he thinks the world is, about deals. And I don't know. I saw the prime minister with him also at that press conference, I should say. And I don't know if Trump is still invited by by His Majesty King Charles to come and take part in any celebrations in London anytime soon. But we'll see.
Jon-Christopher, White House correspondent for Real Political News. Really appreciate your time speaking to us live from Washington.
LBC News.